I'm Becki Zerr, and welcome to Raising Kindness, a podcast all about promoting volunteerism within our community. Join me each month as I'm joined by my 12-year-old son, Bennett, and his friends, demonstrating that together, despite my vision loss, we can definitely make a positive difference in others' lives. We may not always know what we're doing precisely, but we're going to learn, meet new people, and have a lot of fun during the process. So grab a friend and join us on our volunteering adventure that we call Raising Kindness. Welcome to a new episode of Raising Kindness. I'm your host, Becki Zerr, and this podcast is designed to promote volunteering and giving back regardless of your age or your personal challenge. Over the last few months, we have had a blast volunteering and putting together each one of these podcast episodes. And if you have been joining us for each episode, by this point, you've likely started to get to know a little bit about each of our personalities, as well as our likes and interests. And today, you're going to get to know us even a little bit better. We live in a part of Canada that provides us with a true 4-season experience. The spring season here is typically warm with some scattered showers. Summers here are beautiful and nice and hot, followed by a short, crisp fall just before the winter hits and the snow begins to fly. Personally, I really like about 3 out of 4 seasons, so for me, most of the time it's a cup half full scenario. But winter here can be absolutely frigid. I'm gonna be honest. Ice, snow, and temperatures dipping down into the minus 40 degrees Celsius range, to me, is simply not a good time. My son Bennett, on the other hand, he rejoices at the very first sign of snow. So obviously, when we were selecting an organization to volunteer at, finding a way to incorporate all of these cool winter months was definitely at the forefront of Bennett's mind. He loves shoveling snow. It's always been something that's brought him joy. When he was really little, at the first sign of snow, he would grab his small purple plastic shovel and head out to clear off the front step and surrounding walkways. When we briefly lived in an apartment building when we first moved back to the city after my vision loss, well, Bennett was about 7 years old. He would bundle up and joyfully head out to clear off the apartment building's sidewalks and surrounding steps. And that is exactly what brings us to today's episode. So bundle up and get cozy because today's volunteer experience was with a new program here in Regina called Snow Angels. Essentially, these groups of volunteers provide snow shoveling and help to people who have challenges that prevents them to independently be able to clear their own steps and walkways. So that is where this lovely group of volunteers come in. The kids and I were so thrilled to be able to link with this amazing group and become snow angels for the day. I'm really excited to welcome my first guest, Kiera, to the show, so she can share some even more valuable information about the Snow Angel program. Welcome to the podcast, Kiera.
Thank you.
Kiera, I'm wondering if we can start off by you sharing a little bit about yourself and what you like to do for fun.
I'm retired. I like volunteering with the community and helping wherever I'm able to help. I really like working with youth, and I, in my spare time, do a lot of crafts and artwork. So I also teach that to youth as well.
Ooh, I love crafting. That's a whole nother episode though. So I'm wondering if you can tell us about the Snow Angels program and how the program all got started.
Actually, I can't really tell you how it got started. I can tell you that it's been running for 2 years. I believe that City Council had been looking for a way to help people that were having some challenges. So they provided grants to organizations, volunteer organizations within the city to run a Snow Angels program. So one of the groups that I'm with took on the challenge this year. So this was our first year of offering Snow Angels. We really didn't know what to expect. Basically, there are 11 organizations in Regina throughout the city that offer Snow Angels programs to their communities. So there's a number that don't offer the program as well. Coronation Park um, applied for the grant this summer and were approved and moved forward with planning and learning from some of the other organizations that provided the program last year. It was a very large learning experience for us this year, though.
I'm sure it totally was. I'm wondering if you can tell us just how big of an impact volunteers make to the Snow Angels program.
Volunteers are the Snow Angels program. Without volunteers, we don't actually have a program. And that has actually been one of the biggest challenges for our group this year, is that getting volunteers was much more difficult than I originally had expected. And so it has really limited the amount of services that we've been able to provide in the community, because we just haven't had volunteers to connect with people to go out and do the shoveling. So without volunteers, there is no Snow Angels program.
Right. Huge, right? When you were talking volunteers. So when we talk that topic, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on youth coming out, or kids, or with people with various challenges coming out to volunteer for the program.
One of our volunteers is actually a young man. He's 14 years old. And he actually travels a good distance to go to help the individual that he helps. So I am all for youth getting involved. It is something that they are able to do. It's actually a great way for youth to get together with a couple of friends and come out and do something, because it doesn't have to be a one-on-one thing. There could be a couple of people that come out. It just makes the work faster, right? So there's each group in the city does run their program differently. The city does the grant process, but they allow us to design the program to meet our community needs. So for me personally, I would love to have more youth come out. It would be a great way. We have the ability to do some honorariums and stuff. So even for like hockey teams, or for like a graduating class to come out and earn some money, that we could do honorariums to them that way. To get them to come out and get involved. But it's a great way for youth to get involved in the community. People with challenges, you were out there. I have some disabilities myself, and I'm limited in what I can do, but I actually go out to one of our ladies' places and clean the window on her car, so that her handicap placard can be seen when parking enforcement goes by. So little things help. They make a big difference to people who are not maybe able to do some of the things that, we are, even with challenges that we have.
Absolutely. I love that you have a 14-year-old gentleman who's coming out there and participating in the program. And I really like the creativity that you just pointed out, Kira, about, different groups coming out and organizations as a team event. I mean, that's fantastic. You can, with a lot of kids there, you can clear quite a few places all at once, especially if they're within a close proximity. But is there a major commitment when it comes to the volunteers? I mean, do they have to commit for the entire season, or is there opportunities to do those one-offs, kind of like Bennett, Jackson, and I did?
For the most part, programs are looking to pair a Snow Angel volunteer with a person in need. So, for us, I can't speak again for all programs, but for us, the idea was that they would make the commitment for the snow season. We do, like I said, though, also give an honorarium for that. So we do give them a small stipend to encourage them to come out and stay. Volunteers, though, take holidays and whatever. So there are some options there were some people that were willing to come out once in a while if we needed somebody. And so, making a phone call and saying, this volunteer is away for a few days, or they're sick and it's snowing, would you be able to fill in? Both are definitely options within our program, and I would imagine are within other communities' programs as well.
Yeah, I love the flexibility that you have in the program as well. That's really inviting and can allow a lot of different people to participate. But how many residents on average do you have signed up for the Snow Angels program? Do you know, like even for your area or collectively for the city, have you heard any rumblings?
I don't know what it is for the city. For our area, I only have 4. And that's because volunteers have been extremely limited. So I still have some people on a wait list, but I don't have volunteers to put with them. I know other areas, though, are doing have a lot of volunteers, as well as a lot of people applying for the program. And again, this was our first year offering the program, so that might also have an impact with the lower numbers as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure that once word is out on the street, so to speak, from both perspectives of, this is a program that's available for residents, and this is a program that's available for volunteers. And it's not necessarily an all year round commitment, right? Like we live in Regina here, and I mean, we only get snow for 4 to 6 months a year. But there is a little bit of time for them to take a break. So my question to you is, if somebody would like to receive more information and either receive the service themselves or want to sign up to be a volunteer, where would you best direct them to receive this information?
The city of Regina does have on their website, under the Snow Angels program, a list of communities that do offer it. So you could contact the community association or program within your community that offers the program, and they would be able to direct you as to what the next steps are.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the volunteer opportunity. The kids and I had a total blast. It was a pleasure to connect with you, and thanks for being part of the podcast.
Thank you.
Next up on the show is a Snow Angels volunteer herself. Her name is Shirley. Welcome to the show, Shirley.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I'd like to start off similar to Kiera and just learn a little bit about you and what you like to do for fun.
Well, I'm a retired postal worker, and I have been retired for the last 8 years or so, 9 years. I like to be outside a lot, so I do enjoy the winter. My husband and I, we do some snowshoeing. I skate on occasion, and I've even tobogganed once in a while still. So we do enjoy the winter. So that's fun. And another volunteer thing that I do is Forever in Motion. I lead an exercise class for older adults, and I quite enjoy that. And we have really great groups that come in every week. So that's fun. And just cooking and gardening and camping. So lots of things.
Wow, it sounds like you've created another full-time job for yourself in your retirement years, but it sounds like you're having a blast. So
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm curious how you linked yourself with the Snow Angels program. How did everything get started for you?
Well, I live in the Cathedral area, and I have volunteered for other things for the Cathedral Community Association. So I knew about the Snow Angel program through their community newsletter. So I contacted them and put myself on the list. So I did it last year, and it was good. And this year I decided to do it again. So my client is a little closer, which makes it a little easier for me to get to her house. And it's a bit of work. It's been a bit of a challenge. It snowed a lot, and not only do I do her steps and her sidewalk to the city sidewalk, and the city sidewalk, she's also asked me to go to the side of her house and the back to her car, because she's got mobility issues, so she can't get out of her house to get to her car. So I have said yes, I would do that. So it makes it for a little bit more of a workout.
Add it to your exercise regime, right?
There you go. Exactly.
I'm excited to hear that you've had an opportunity to meet the lady that you're volunteer to help out with as a Snow Angel. So what does that feel like to you to be able to have had that connection?
Well, she's very appreciative, and I really appreciate that she has so much gratitude to the Snow Angels. And so she thanked me with 2 bottles of wine for Christmas. And so that was
Aw.
really nice. And so I do know that she is very grateful for the Snow Angel program, because if it wasn't for the volunteers such as myself that clears the snow for her, she may not get out of her house as often. And for older adults, isolation is a big deal, and she would be more isolated. So it's really good for the community, not just to clear the snow, but just for letting folks have more opportunity to get out of their house.
Absolutely, the true meaning behind the program, right? I'm glad you had an opportunity to link with her. She sounds fantastic, by the way. But the kids and I did have an opportunity to meet a couple of the residents that we were shoveling for as well, which really was impactful to the kids. Like it meant a lot to them to see, the face behind whom they were helping. So, yeah, I kind of explained to them that we may not get to, see the people, and that is totally cool and fine. But when they did get to hear the thank yous from them, they were just like the smiles in their face. I could just hear it in their voice. It was so amazing. But if somebody is watching this or has heard about the Snow Angels program but hasn't yet signed up as a volunteer, what would you say to them if they're considering getting involved?
Well, if you're considering getting involved, do it. Try it. It's a great way to help the community. It's a really good way to get outside, get some exercise, do some kindness for others, and give it a try, because it's not that really that hard. And the only way you're going to know is if you do it. So I would totally encourage you to try it out if you've got any desire to, and it'll make you feel good as a volunteer.
Those are spectacular words of advice and wisdom. I'm just curious, has there been something that you've learned that may have surprised you, I guess, a bit by being part of the Snow Angels volunteers that you maybe weren't expecting?
Well, I'm pretty determined. So if there's that big snowbank to shovel through, and there has been,
I'm sure there has.
I can do it. So I've learned that I'm quite capable of shoveling a little bit harder. um, and um, and I just know that it's good for the people that live around her house, like especially her front sidewalk. They benefit from that. So it's not just for my client; it's for everyone that lives on her street, on her block. So I've learned that too.
For sure. It's a reaching impact that you're really having. So thank you so much, Shirley, for all of what you do to volunteer as a Snow Angels and as well as your other projects that you have going on. You sound like a very busy lady. I'm thrilled that we've had the opportunity to connect. And thank you so much for being part of this year's podcast.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to brag about the Snow Angels.
Perfect. Well, continue to enjoy the rest of your winter and your snowshoeing season.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, the kids are here and they're totally ready to jump in and have a conversation with me and share their thoughts on today's volunteer experience of being a snow angel. I'm happy to welcome the kids to the show. Welcome back, Bennett, and welcome to the show, Jackson.
Thanks.
Okay, you two. I know that on most winter days, you can commonly be found outside shoveling, building a snow fort, or even playing street hockey. And it's anything but easy to get you guys to come inside when there's snow out there. So I'm pretty sure that I have a pretty good idea of what your guys' thoughts were on today's volunteer experience. But I'm still really looking forward to hearing this conversation. Okay, Bennett, do you first want to start off by telling everybody about today's volunteer experience with the Snow Angel program? But Jax, remember, you can jump in at any point, buddy, and help them out.
So today we went and volunteered at the Snow Angels program, and what we did is we went and shoveled someone who can't, like they were older and they couldn't really shovel their pathway. And so what we did is we went and shoveled and sanded and scraped down to the concrete their walkway so they could walk better and like worry free and not worry about slipping.
So, what was your favorite part of volunteering today? Jackson, do you want to go first?
Today, my favorite part was helping because me and Bennett get to do a lot of driveways on our street, and it's just really fun shoveling together, helping some people out, making their lives a little bit easier.
My favorite thing was shoveling, like basically the same thing that Jack said, helping people and making them smile.
How did it feel to know that you guys are making somebody's path going in and out of their house now safe for them to use?
It felt like you did a really good deed.
It just felt really good that it's just making a little impact that could make our world a better place and easier to survive in.
Yeah.
And not slip.
Okay, considering your guys' ages, you guys have done a lot of shoveling over the years. So I'm just wondering, do you guys happen to have any tips and tricks that you guys would like to pass along to doing your best snow shoveling?
So I have 2 tips actually. Number 1, you don't want to have your shovel pointed like all the way down into the snow or like on even on like this big of an angle. You want to have it like kind of flat, and then if you know that there's a crack coming up, do not have your blade like that, or else it will end up in somewhere that you don't want it to end up and it will hurt. Or you will go basically tabletop over top of the shovel or fall over. It will be pretty funny for the other people to see, but probably not for you.
Yeah, my tip is after you finish shoveling, make sure to sand it all so then it kind of like helps everyone get a better grip and you can walk a little bit safer. And yeah, if you do what Bennett did and stick it right down, you're going to end up doing a cartwheel.
Yeah.
And landing on your back.
Yeah.
It hurts.
So if somebody was thinking about volunteering to become a snow angel, what would you guys say to them?
100% do it. It will help someone else's life. And when you're 70 or 80 or 90 even, you want to look back and be like, oh, look at that. That person's doing it. I did that too. That made a big difference. Because if you don't, then it might happen to you where you don't get a service. Like, it's not like luck. It will be like a luck thing, I guess.
Yeah. You just, when you're older, you just like, when you see someone, it's like, well, I did that. They're doing it for me now. It kind of feels nice when you're older to do that sort of stuff.
Okay, do you guys have any last minute thoughts?
At the first house, when we finished, she was like, hey guys, can I pay you? And we're like, no, it's just volunteering. We're just helping you out, doing our stuff, like having fun.
Okay, I know that you guys were totally in your element today, and even though playing in the snow is totally not my thing, I have to say I had a lot of fun hanging out with you two. And before you guys jump outside, I'm wondering if you can please tell us all about today's kindness challenge. Just as a reminder to our audience, this is your opportunity to get involved and help us spread kindness all throughout our communities. Simply complete our kindness challenge. Take a picture or 2 along the way of you guys completing the challenge, write a short description, and then tag us in on all your social media accounts. This way, we can see all of the kindness that is happening all around us. Okay, guys, I'm tossing the mic back over to you guys for today's kindness challenge.
So for our kindness challenge today is to go out and shovel someone's driveway. And even if it hasn't snowed in a while, sand it down or take the ice off. Like just scrape it. It takes 5 minutes and it could save someone's back or knees or whatever.
Yeah.
And it helps. And then take a photo of your end job and tag us in.
Oh my goodness. This challenge is fantastic and totally reflects the two of you perfectly. I really can't wait to see all the snowy pictures of all of the shoveling that's being done in our communities. Helping out with the Snow Angels program today was a really great experience. The kids totally had a great time. And I'm sure that they will clear many more sidewalks and driveways under their very own direction. The kids were definitely a step or two ahead of me today, which really wasn't that big of a surprise to myself or really anybody around me. I completely admit that at our house, Bennett and my husband Brad are primarily in charge of snow removal. I know that I am super fortunate to have such great help all around me. But for somebody with vision challenges like myself, successfully shoveling away snow independently can most definitely be a significant challenge. I mean, I use a guide dog who provides me with assistance just to navigate my surroundings. She's totally fantastic, but it's really not easy to shovel while handling a guide dog at the same time. I'm not saying it can't be done or that others shouldn't go ahead and give it a try. And if you're great at it, good for you. I'm just saying that for me, the coordination is totally not there. And programs like the Snow Angels program really would come in super handy. When people were initially thinking about the demographics that this program would likely serve, I'm just guessing they would have focused on people with mobility issues, people with stability problems, or people who required aids like a walker or a wheelchair to get around. I'm really not sure that it was actually at the forefront of somebody's mind to think about how this program could also help people with vision loss. I know that if I was a single person living on my own without my own built-in supports, this program would definitely be something that I would personally consider accessing. And I think that this is a fantastic new initiative within our community. And with the right volunteer crew behind it, I think that there's an opportunity for a lot of good to be done. It felt really great to be out there helping out, and it really reminded me of just how grateful I am for my husband and our eager son who simply loves to shovel. And that's the end of this episode of Raising Kindness. We all look forward to watching you participate in this episode's Kindness Challenge, so be sure to tag us in on all your social media accounts. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Raising Kindness with me, Becki Zerr. Thanks so much to all of my guests and to you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on social media. You'll find us on Facebook and Instagram at raising.kindness.podcast. And don't forget, you're going to want to like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. See you again soon.